It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Kyle Benedict as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. Very good to have you in studio with us today. Game and Fish's Shelley Shepard back with us. Hello.
Hello there.
Welcome back.
It's great to be here. It always is.
Almost like a year since we've
I know,
seen
it seems like a long time ago.
Yeah,
but we're here. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we are. We've got a ton of stuff. You can see it's laid out on the table, rules and regulations, and all that good stuff is here, all the updated information for that, and we're going to get to hunting in a second.
Yep.
I wanted to jump into the bears.
Yes.
We had a bear that was lethally removed from Boynton Canyon outside Sedona. Earlier this summer when the drought was really hardcore.
Yeah, it was really dry then. And, you know, we do get asked quite a bit is, you know, what's the deal? What's going on with them? Why are they showing up in these particular areas?
Was it a surprise, though?
To have that bear there?
Just to have the bears doing that this year? Because we talked about it before it even started happening.
Yeah, not a surprise. When we have as dry conditions as we had up until our, you know, monsoon season finally kicked in, we were looking at pretty harsh conditions for most wildlife. But, you know, bears are a large predator, and when they're looking for food and water, you're not going to miss them. You know, some smaller species, they're just going to kind of sneak out, do what they need to do, and maybe be gone, and nobody ever sees them.
Right.
But, you know, the other thing with the bears and some other larger predators, we always talk about the feeding issue as well. And
public feeding.
Public feeding. And there's always the difference between intentional and unintentional feeding. And there's people that put stuff out like cat food and dog food, or have a garden and don't realize maybe what kind of wildlife will come in. But we do have individuals out there that are purposely putting out food and water sources for wildlife. And, you know, our case back, what you were, you know, brought up with the bears out of Boynton Canyon, it's a used area as well. There's trails all over the place. And so the possibility of somebody seeing a bear, probably, you know, pretty likely like what we had. But then we, you know, it goes to the next step of our bears leaving that area when confronted by people and people making noise and doing those things we always talk about. Make noise, look big. Right?
Be loud.
And if they're not getting scared off, you know, we have an issue. An animal that's not afraid of humans potentially could kill or injure someone. So,
do we know how long it takes for a bear to become habituated? Or is that just individual bear? Or I mean, if they've got food and water, I guess that's their source of food and water, and they see people around, they're pretty much every time they show up.
Yeah, there will be fairly consistent behavior. I don't know if I could even put like a time frame on it.
Right.
But once they get used to that food source, they will potentially expect that food source every single day.
Just like anything would.
Yeah, I remember a case when I was working out of Phoenix, and we had an elderly lady that was in the Cave Creek Carefree area. And we got a call. She ended up getting bit by a javelina. And it turns out, when we got to her house, there's watermelon and cantaloupe and all sorts of goodies. And she said, oh, yeah, I feed my babies every day. Well, those javelina got used to that and habituated to that. And it wasn't that it lashed out at her in an aggressive way. It was just like, hey, food's not here yet. And took a snap at her and bit her in the arm. Okay,
then we had one in Happy Jack, I don't know, sometime in the last week where a game and fish officer went out there and the folks had scared it out of the yard. The bear came back, and this time it's like, I'm not leaving.
Yeah, and this bear, it was wanting to stick around. The homeowners scared it off once. It came back. They did try to scare it off again. It would not go. And when our officer arrived, he was within 10 feet of it, and there was no fright whatsoever in that bear. And that's a situation that we just have to put that animal down.
And this is all because of the drought. I mean, mountain lions too, we see that happening as well with them, where they start moving into urban areas because there's just not a good food supply out in the forest for them. But now that we've had a lot of rain, and I noticed that, man, when things get rain around here, they go from being nothing to 3 feet tall in no time flat. So do you think we'll be seeing less and less of this now? Maybe everyone will be kind of moving back into the forest and happy?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we're looking at. I mean, we can make a prediction, but are we always correct? No. But we do think with the amount of rain, and it sounds like Sedona has stayed said, pretty dry compared to some of our other areas, especially Flagstaff area has been getting a ton of rain. So, you know, as we see things improve, there is that potential that wildlife will be sort of back in their own natural setting instead of trying to find food sources within our residential and urban areas. You know, so remember, everybody, don't feed wildlife.
Don't feed wildlife.
They will figure it out. Yeah.
They're pretty good at that.
They are pretty good at that.
They're
That's
really
why
good
they're called wildlife.
Yeah, because they just hang out in the woods and do their thing.
Yeah, I mean, I know everybody wants to help, and really helping just hurts them. And, you know, that phrase, a fed bear is a dead bear, I mean, it is true. We cannot have a situation that, again, that somebody could be injured or seriously injured or killed, you know, and we don't want to see that again.
And we have a pretty good bear population in the state, don't we?
We have a pretty healthy bear population. We do allow hunting, so we do know that we can hunt some bears in this state and have a healthy population.
Well, you said hunt, so let's move on. Where the whole goal there was to just let folks know that just don't feed the bears, don't feed the wildlife, and they will take care of themselves.
Yeah.
Hunting etiquette. We have you come in and talk about this every year because I think of it on both sides. So you've got the hunter who he or she has got their tag and they're really looking forward to their deer or their javelina or their elk or whatever it is they're going to go out and hunt.
Yep.
And I've got a couple of friends that do this, and they really have this regime of things they do over like 2-3 months where they're out scouting, and they know that this bull elk is in this location, this is where he likes it. It's really a huge,
it is,
I don't even want to say what it's called, but
well, it's just a lot of preparation,
right? And it's a lot of money they spend on this, but it is fun for them to go out and do this. It is, they are hunting.
Yeah.
And then you got the folks that I see all the time now in Mountain Air that are pulling up that have got the quads and the rovers and stuff like that. They're just out in the forest having a good time.
Yeah.
But this is where they kind of start to clash together.
Yeah.
Because you've got a hunter who wants it quiet out there because he's hunting or she's hunting, and then you've got those of us like myself who are just out there having a good time.
So everybody be responsible.
Right.
I think the big thing is be respectful of what other people are doing and why are they there to recreate and what are they doing? What is their recreational mode, I guess? So the folks that come out and have their trailers and their quads, you know they're going to hang out in their camp, they may do a little hiking, and they definitely want to go ride their ATVs. For those folks, I would say just remember we have a lot of new rules and regulations when it comes to ATV riding, not only safety equipment, but just where you can go and where you can ride.
We do.
In the hunting community, yeah, they want it quiet, but typically what you're going to see with the hunters is it's an early morning. I mean, before the sun is up. They're going out to that spot where they've seen that bull for the last several months, and hopefully they have a good experience and things stay quiet and the ATV doesn't roll up on right where on the water tank that they're sitting. But I guess what I'm getting at is there's a different time of day that a lot of the recreational type folks are out. So hunters are typically morning and then way late in the afternoon right before the sun goes down. People out hiking, walking their dogs, kayaking, riding off-highway vehicles, that's all more like daytime use. So I guess I would look at it, there's not a ton of overlap on when these folks are out doing their activities. But I do think it's a good thing that we talk about that when you are out, check our regulations. I always tell everyone, if you're a non-hunter and you want to go camping for the weekend, go see if the hunting season has started or not. And check our regulations. Okay, I don't understand what this Unit 6A is, but oh, here's a map. Oh shoot, we were going to go camping right there this weekend. Oh, there's a hunt going on. And just be prepared for that.
That's a good point.
And look, and just know that, hey, we may be in an area where there's also going to be people that are hunting. And I think the big thing to encourage is that everybody can get out in the woods during the fall. I mean, up in Flagstaff and some of our neat areas around the state, the fall colors are coming in, and everybody should be able to get out and enjoy our wild and scenic areas.
I never thought about using your hunting regulations as a way to find out where the hunts are taking place and what's going on around the state, so you know where you do or don't want to be.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's always the paper copies, but go to the internet and you can find all of our regulations really quickly, easily, and say, well, we kind of want to go to that area and take a look and see if there's a hunt going on. I always recommend that to people that are not familiar with our hunting activity. And a lot of people do call us as we get into fall. So if I want to go to such and such place, what am I going to encounter? And is there a hunting season going on? And
arrows or bullets?
Yeah, arrows or bullets, a good point, yeah. But I do have some people that say, oh great, it's already hunting season, I'm not going to go at all. And I always say, oh no, there's so many places that you should
Right.
be able to go. Hunters typically are not by the recreational areas. They're not staying some of the time in those designated camping
They kind of want to be out by
grounds.
themselves. Way
Yeah,
out
they
there.
want to be out there, and they're going to camp a little more off-road, not in a designated campground. They're certainly not hunting, and they shouldn't be near like popular hiking areas. You're not going to have a good hunting experience where everybody's out hiking and making noise.
Right, right.
So there, like I said, there's not a lot of overlap, but I think it's a good point that everybody can be out and
Just be aware.
do what they're doing. Yeah,
Just be aware. Be aware of your surroundings and who's with you. We got to take a break. All
Okay.
right? Game and Fish's Shelley Shepard in studio today. I'm Paul David. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
My new mom and I have a lot in common.
The great outside.
We both love the outdoors.
So shiny.
That's not a flower. We both love geology.
Oh, look. An igneous one.
That's not a rock. And she knows a lot about wildlife.
A labradoodle.
That's not a dog. Hanging out has been kind of fun.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education. So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour to show them that higher education means a brighter future. My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
You can be a reader, tutor, or mentor too. Take the pledge at liveunited.org/volunteer.
Do you wear this?
Get caught buzz driving, and you could do some hard time.
Craig, knock it off.
Sorry, Mom.
It could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And that could set you back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to Countywide. Great to have you along. Arizona Game and Fish's Shelley Shepard in studio today. We're going to move on to the Game and Fish Elk Watch program. You
Yes.
sent me this, and I've been talking about it for a couple of weeks, but you said sign-ups have been a little slow.
Yeah.
So there's room. Because years
usually
past,
by now.
Years past, it's been booked by now. And then when you come in, we don't talk about it because it is full. But this year it's not.
This year, this is our annual Elk Workshop that we partner with Mormon Lake Lodge, and we host talks and field trips right out from Mormon Lake Lodge. We meet in the Kachina room and then head out and watch all the elk that are in the Mormon Lake bottom. And yeah, we've got plenty of room this year. We're doing talks at 8 o'clock. 9 o'clock, and each of those talks will be followed by a field trip.
Okay.
So call our Flagstaff office and get signed up for one of those sessions. Yeah, we've got tons of space. So
they've actually
get your
made some
friends
really,
and family out.
Yeah, they made some really nice overlook areas there along Mormon Lake.
There's a new pullout. Yeah, there's
Lake Mary Road.
Yeah, we call it the old overlook and the new overlook.
Okay.
And actually, sometimes in past years, those have been our two spots that we set up our spotting scopes and actually look at the elk. And that's why while we're doing the presentations, we've got folks out driving around Mormon Lake to figure out where our best viewing spot's going to be.
What makes Mormon Lake so special for the elk? They love it so much.
It is a great spot, and I think part of it is we keep talking about wildlife and food, and it is just a good, sort of, I don't want to sound funny, but nutritious spot. And usually we see a really good green up in that area, and they just traditionally are there. I mean, we're talking thousands of elk in some
There's some water in there still, too, here.
Yeah,
and
now there's going to be more water. I mean, we've had just a ton of storms up there, so we've got some water in Mormon Lake. Never stays, but, it's a great spot.
The press release said like hundreds are there.
Oh, well, it could be that and up to thousands. Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
in past years, we've had over 1,000 elk in Mormon Lake Bottom.
All at one time?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
no kidding.
at one time.
Now, is this the period of time where the guys are still friends with each other? The bulls are still friends with each other? Because I see them along Mormon Lake Road, or Mountaineer Road all the time, where there's 4 or 5 bulls that are all hanging out together. But there has got to be a time when when he looks at him and says, I don't like you anymore.
Yeah, you're not my friend.
Get out of here.
Yeah, the bachelor herds typically, do you like that?
Yes, the bachelor herds.
The bachelor herds stay together, and as we approach the rut, they will start to say that, well, act that way.
They're going to start fighting with each other.
They're going to start fighting with each other to, gather up their females and have their herd, and it's called a harem. And, the more females they can breed with is always a good thing because that puts more elk on the ground. But, yeah, even right now this time of year, antlers are still growing in.
Right.
Typically, we're looking at the rut anywhere late August and certainly into September. We will probably start to see some rut activity.
Okay,
so yeah,
up here
bachelor herds
soon.
could still be sticking together a little bit.
And that's when the bugling starts too, which is a very awesome sound.
Oh, it's
Unless
great.
you don't know what it is and it's very dark out and you hear that going. It's kind of an eerie sound, but when you know what it is, it's really an amazing sound.
It is really amazing. It is cool to hear elk bugle and the cows calling for their calves. It's really neat.
Yeah, it's a good time.
So come on out, folks. We've got plenty of space.
This Saturday?
This Saturday, yeah, the 16th. Again, talks are at 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock, and then we'll take you out and you can look through spotting scopes. And if folks have binocs, bring your binoculars and use those too.
Now, you want people to sign up, right?
We still want folks to call and register.
Okay, what's the number?
The number is 928-774-5045, and that's the main number for our Flagstaff Game and Fish Office.
Okay, right there on Lake Mary Road.
Right there on Lake Mary Road.
Okay, so 774-5045 is the number to call for the the elk watch program that's going on. Okay, and then you've got a wildlife watching program as well.
Yes.
We're going to talk about hunting, but some people just want to go out and look at them. But
and enjoy wildlife, yes.
Right, yeah.
This is a great project that we started with several other partners back in 2011, and we call this the Arizona Watchable Wildlife Experience.
Okay.
So we call it AWE. There we go. Very good. And what happened is we discovered that not only our agency, but Coconino County, the City of Flagstaff, the Forest Service, and Arizona Wildlife Federation, we all have this strong interest in watchable wildlife. And we were all working on projects to enhance watchable wildlife sites all around Flagstaff. And so we finally put AWE together. And we've got 30 watchable wildlife sites within 30 miles of Flagstaff. And so we've got a website, we've got audio guides for some of the sites. We're working on a map brochure right now, and
so
it's
these
great.
are just specific locations where you can go see this particular type of wild. I noticed there was antelope in here, so a lot of us have seen the antelope.
We've got great site information on our website, and they're on a map, so you can figure out where they are.
Mormon Lake would be one of them, I imagine.
And Mormon Lake and the Lake Mary Road, kind of what you want to maybe call a scenic route.
Yeah,
there
it's
are
like
several.
a major animal corridor.
It's one of our major sites in this project. Rogers Lake is another site. And then what's really great is we've got sites that are along the Flagstaff Urban Trail, which is typically along the Rio de Flag, Picture Canyon, Wildcat Treatment Area. There's all sorts of great sites, and it's everything from just drive up on pavement like Mormon Lake, drive up, get out of your car, and you're on the overlook. Some of our sites are off dirt roads and may have a little trail. We've got kiosks at some of the sites. We've got interpretive signage at some of the sites. But the greatest thing that we've just recently completed was 16 audio guides which is about a half of the sites. So actually 18 audio guides have now been developed for the site. So when you get to our website, hit play, and you can hear an audio guide about that particular
Is this the book that goes along with it?
This book actually is just about tips and guidelines on watching wildlife in Arizona, but it's a great supplement to our project. We're almost done with our map brochure for folks to pick up and carry with them. Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
So Arizona Watchable Wildlife Experience up in northern Arizona. 30 and 30, remember that.
30 and 30.
30 and 30. Yeah.
azgfd.gov. Game and Fish's Shelley Shepard in studio today. I'm Paul David. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got a couple minutes left in the program. If you're interested in the Elk Workshop that's coming up this Saturday, 774-5045 is the number you want to call to RSVP for that. azgfd.gov is where you can go for information on everything we're talking about today.
Yep.
You've got a new firewood thing. We talked about it, I think, this last week, and I believe Kyle wrote it up, but there is a firewood cutting opportunity.
Yep, free firewood opportunity. This is in our Lamar Haynes Wildlife Area, which is about 12 miles sort of northwest of Flagstaff. You take 180 out of town and you head up Snowball Road.
Okay.
Yep,
Gotcha.
and this is by permit only. So I know we are talking very quickly about where it is, but people actually have to come to the Flagstaff Game and Fish office, sign a waiver, sign an agreement form, and that is their permit to be able to go cut firewood, free firewood, in this particular area, the Lamar Haynes Wildlife Area.
We're just trying to clean up some of the dead and down stuff.
It's getting a little too cluttered,
Gotcha.
and so we want to improve the wildlife habitat in that area. Of course, it reduces fire risk, and of course we want that as well. And we're going to start offering those permits on August 29th, and the actual season will run. The fuel wood cutting season will be open from September 1st until November 15th.
Okay.
So folks have quite a bit of time. It's just make sure you come to our office and get that permit, and that's going to allow you to head into
a few weekends in there at least.
Oh yeah. I mean, and like I said, we just mentioned there is a lot of dead and down wood, and we want to get it out of there and do some improvements to that wildlife area.
It's free. Not that firewood permits are expensive, but
yeah, typically when you get a fuel wood permit, you got to put some money into it. But we're offering this. This is a first-time opportunity, so we're hoping that folks take advantage of it. I mean, they get firewood for the winter, and we get some of that dead and down out of the area and improve the habitat.
Okay,
Yeah.
azgfd.gov again. So real quick, back to, we've got about a minute left.
Okay.
The hunting regulations brochure, the booklet there, that is really good for anybody who wants to go out camping if you're not hunting, to get a hold of one of those and find out where the hunting seasons are, because there's quite a few coming up now between now and...
Oh, yeah.
Right.
This month is already going to start kicking off some of our deer seasons, and we will have hunting practically through December. So yeah, a lot of hunting activity going to go on.
Okay, so everybody can pick one of those up, and then you know where the particular seasons are taking place and what's going on. All right, I think that's all I got.
Gosh, just take a look at our regulations. I know people always have a lot of questions, and there's always our website for more information.
azgfd.gov, 774-5045. That's the number to their office on Lake Mary Road there if you want to sign up for the Elk Watch that's coming up this Saturday, 8 a.m., 9 a.m.
8 a.m. and 9 a.m.,
Right.
Yep.
Good to see you, Shelley Shepard.
Yes, thank you.
Good?
It's always great.
That's today's Countywide. We'll talk to you again next time.
actually